Hey guys, it's Jasmine. Welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel for Tupelo Designs LLC. We are going to start off with some Nina cardstock and some vellum. And I'm starting with the stamp set from Concord 9th, You're My Person. And this is one of their new sets. And we're going to, I stamp and emboss this twice using two different colors of embossing powder. And I only use one of them for this project and use the other one for another project. So if you have the wildflowers set, what they did was shrink the images down and make a collage out of it. So I actually use both sets, the wildflowers and the You're My Person set, on this card. So that first embossing powder is a silver one. And this purple one is called Aurora Amethyst, and they are both from Lindy Stamp Gang. And I did use a powder tool on this before I stamped it with the Versamark. But the Lindy's has a really shimmery finish to it, so some of the shimmery powder gets kind of stuck. But in the end, you don't really see it, so it's not a big deal. And whenever you're heat embossing, especially on vellum, because it tends to warp easier than cardstock, you want to let your gun heat up for at least 30 seconds before you apply heat to your paper. So here I've got my card base, and I'm using a stitch circle die. You can use any circle die because you don't actually see the stitch detail on the card base. It's only on the circle that gets punched out. So you can use any circle die you have. You just want one that's going to be big enough to show the entire stamped image. So run that through the Big Shot. And then I use Post-it tape to kind of mask off the back of the card, just running it along the fold line at the top, and then making it a little longer so I can stick it down because I'm going to do some ink blending on top. But first, I'm going to use the Wildflower stamp set and waterproof archival black ink to stamp a few flowers. And the colors I'm going to use are Wilted Violet and Mermaid Lagoon Distress Ink. They're two of my favorite color distress inks, but I also really love the shade you get when you mix them together. So I just stamped a few of the flowers and kind of fit them together. And then I also added one of the leaf images. And I just used some Ranger stamp cleaner to remove the archival ink from my craft mat so that it didn't get weird black smudges on the rest of my card. So I start with Wilted Violet and I do a light coat. And if you're having trouble with ink blending, what I do is I always start off the paper. So I kind of rub it on the craft mat first to get rid of any excess ink. And then when I'm applying it to the cardstock, I keep it at a slight angle. And I use really light pressure, because you can always build it up but obviously you can't take it away. So I always do ink blending in layers. And I always go over where the two colors meet, I'll go back over it with the lighter color, just to make sure I get a really smooth blend. And I did take the wilted violet all the way around the inner part of the circle, the cutout circle. So here I've got my card front, and I actually cut it off because I liked it with the purple on top better. So I cut off the back piece and then just attach some glue runner to the top and bottom edges, and then adhered my vellum piece. And so here I've got some 3M foam tape, and I folded it over itself. And then an easy way to kind of manipulate it is to just take off the backing paper, and it makes it much easier to mold and shape. If you're using straight edges, it doesn't really matter, but because I curved it around the circle a little bit, it made it easier to do that by just taking the paper off. So this is just some purple glitter paper from Die Cuts with a View. And I didn't realize until after the card was done that it really didn't show behind the vellum anyway, so you can just use plain white cardstock for the backing. So I used my paper trimmer to trim it down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then added some purple and white sequins from my stash to the shaker portion. And I did end up trimming like 1/8 of an inch off of 2 edges, the long and short edges of the glitter paper, just to make sure it didn't show behind the front panel. And then here is a butterfly cut from vellum using the Floral and Flutter dies from Concord 9th. And I coat that in Versamark and then use the same Aurora Amethyst embossing powder to heat emboss that. And then I use the same die to cut a white butterfly out of some white glitter paper. So here I've got a smile die cut just from my stash with a little bit darker purple glitter paper. And then there's the white butterfly. So I have this shimmer spritz, and it leaves a really gorgeous shimmer. And what I like about how it worked with this is that because it's distress ink and it reacts with water, it did a little bit of that bleaching speckly effect on it with the shimmer, so it looked really cool, really pretty. And then to finish up, I just attached the smile die cut and the butterflies with some glossy accents. And then the card was finished. Or no, after I attach the butterflies and smile, I attach it to a card base, because that's kind of important. And then I use acrylic blocks just to weight it down for the glossy accents to dry, which only takes a few seconds. So I just added score tape to the back of the shaker panel, and that's 1/2 inch score tape. And that's just a landscape folded white card base, and I use a Nina cardstock for that. And then our card is finished. So let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to know what you think, and visit me next time. So thanks for joining me today, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.